Echoes Beyond the Event Horizon. Chapter 1. The Collision. Dr. Elias Vance had always believed death was the end, until he died. It happened aboard the ISS Resilience, a state-of-the-art deep space research station orbiting Proxima Centauri b. Elias was leading an experiment on quantum gravitational fields when a micro-meteoroid, undetected by the station's failing radar, punctured the hull of Module 4. The decompression was instantaneous. Elias remembered the sound, the deafening silence that followed the rupture. Then, the excruciating pain as his suit depressurized. His vision darkened. His body became weightless in a way that no longer felt normal. And then he saw it. As his consciousness flickered, Elias found himself outside of time, outside of space. He was no longer aboard the ISS Resilience. Instead, he drifted within a vast, luminous construct, an endless lattice of interwoven energy pulses, shifting like an organic fractal. He could see his own body, frozen in the moment of death, yet he existed apart from it. A voice, or rather an impression, rippled through his mind. You are not yet finished. The universe stretched around him, vast beyond measure. The lattice, he could feel it. It wasn't just light. It was information, a structure built from the very fabric of reality itself. And somehow, Elias understood what it was. It was time. Chapter 2. The Echoes of Time. The structure vibrated, pulsing in frequencies beyond human comprehension. Elias felt himself drawn into it, pulled along currents of causality and probability. He realized, with a mixture of awe and terror, that he was experiencing time non-linearly. He saw himself as a child, staring up at the night sky. He saw himself boarding the ISS Resilience for the first time. He saw himself die, again and again, each death a variation, each fate determined by infinitesimal shifts in probability. And then, something shifted. A figure emerged from the lattice. It was humanoid, but not biological. It was composed of the same pulsating energy that made up the structure, a being of pure data and time. Dr. Elias Vance, it spoke, not in words, but in raw understanding. You have been pulled beyond your event horizon. You exist now in the interstitial layer. Elias struggled to comprehend. Am I dead? You are in superposition between states. Your biological form has ceased function, but your consciousness remains entangled with the quantum substrate of the universe. Why? Because you are necessary. Chapter 3. The Observer's Paradox. The being, an echo as it called itself, guided Elias through the lattice, showing him glimpses of the multiverse. He saw alternate Earths, branching timelines, futures that never came to be. Consciousness is an anomaly, the echo explained. It interacts with time in ways physics cannot yet define. Your existence here proves this. Then why me? Elias asked. Because you made a choice. In those final microseconds, your mind did something unusual. You rejected death. And in doing so, you altered your quantum state, becoming untethered from conventional time. Elias processed the implication. So what happens now? That depends. The universe is unraveling. Time is not immutable. It is a construct, vulnerable to collapse. There are breaches forming in the continuum. You have the ability to navigate them. You want me to fix time? We need you to observe, to anchor reality before it fractures. Chapter 4. The Fractured Universe. Elias was given no time to consider before he was pushed, thrust into a reality that was not his own. He gasped, finding himself in a spacecraft, alarms blaring. He recognized the ship instantly. Resilience, but not the resilience he had left. the crew was different. The technology was both familiar and alien, as if someone had taken the designs and evolved them by centuries. A woman in a sleek pressure suit grabbed his arm. "Vance, we're losing orbit. Get to the control panel." His hands moved on instinct, muscle memory guiding him through the controls. But the ship's systems were different. The physics felt wrong. Gravity fluctuated unpredictably. Space itself seemed unstable. And then he understood. This was one of the fractures, a universe where the fundamental constants had shifted, just slightly, but enough to render it uninhabitable. The echo's voice resonated in his mind. Anchor it. Observe and correct. Elias closed his eyes, feeling the lattice beneath reality. He focused, forcing probability back into alignment. The ship stabilized. The fractures sealed. When he opened his eyes, the woman was gone. The ship was gone. He was somewhere else. Chapter 5. The Return. Elias drifted through countless realities, fixing what was broken, anchoring time where it threatened to unravel. Each experience left an imprint, reshaping his understanding of existence itself. Finally, he felt the pull back to his own world. He awoke, gasping, aboard the ISS Resilience. The hull breach alarm was blaring, but he was alive. His body was whole. Time had rewound to the moment before his death. But he was not the same. He remembered. The lattice, the fractures, the echoes. He had seen beyond the event horizon of death itself. And he knew this was only the beginning.